still support a sitting president who was not committing to a peaceful transfer of power. If that wasn't a bright...
So we have a really, the problem we have in this country that I never realized was such the biggest problem ever is that there's so many people that do not have common sense, right? I mean, people, you can agree with me, can't you? Sam here, and who are the people that don't have common sense? The people that we've been told are the experts. Sam Harris would be considered an expert. You know, I mean, he's the one that him and Jordan Peterson fight about, like, God, and, you know, I think he's an atheist. But atheists, here's the thing, atheists don't have common sense. They don't. But they think they do because really who they worship is science. They worship other experts. So what I mean here is that, so Sam Harris is saying in this clip that it should have been alarming to people that Trump didn't agree that he would do a peaceful transfer of power. He said he wouldn't if something was not right with the, election. But Sam Harris believes whatever the government says and whatever the media says. And yet he lacks common sense completely, because it's very simple here. It's very simple. Take all of those other people out of the equation, although Sam Harris doesn't. That's who he relies on, is CNN, MSNBC, the biggest liars, and then the government. But he should have looked at the summer of 2020. At every rally that Joe Biden had, he couldn't get more than 30 people. He could not get more than 30 people. Trump averaged the summer of 2020 20 to 25,000 at every rally. And his last rally before the election day, he had 50,000. Joe Biden never could get even 30. There's a problem there. And yet Sam Harris cannot see that problem. Yet those experts believe CNN and MSNBC and the government when they say it was the most fair election ever. That's the reason people don't trust the institutions, because if you look at most of these people, there's very few you can find that are as higher educated as Sam Harris and many of these people that show that. I think the trade-off is that if you get too much education, you're going to end up lacking common sense. I really do. Because something happens, and then the experts only look. I've said it before. Their education has put them into this box, and then they never hear anybody. Like he would never listen to somebody like me or anybody else like me, because they've been trained that no, I don't have all their education, so I'm just an idiot. But I have common sense, and know that no, you shouldn't agree to a transfer of power when you know something was taken from you. If somebody stole your car and you know it was stolen, you don't then turn around and say, okay, no, it wasn't. It's really right here. No, I mean, that's sacrificing your integrity. It's lying to yourself. So no leader should ever agree to the only time a leader should agree to a peaceful transfer of power is if everything's on the up and up. We know it wasn't, no matter what all of those experts say. Because it's obvious. If you cannot get more than 30 people at a rally, and you're the other candidate running against a man that was getting 20 to 25,000 and then 50 his last rally, at every rally, then for you to think that then he got more votes than Obama is absolutely stupidity. Stupidity. But what they do, the Sam Harrises, all these higher educated people do, is they rely on CNN. It's like they're God. And then the only other people they surround themselves with, because they think it makes them smart, is people that have as much education as they do. So they're just being surrounded by a bunch of other people that lack common sense. So this is why people don't have faith in the institutions anymore, because we've been told our whole lives that you people are the experts, to trust the science, that having all these letters after your name meant that everybody should trust you, yet on the basic simple things that normal people can see, you can't put together. Like, you can't put the pieces together. So then what the rest of us say is, no, these people are not expert. And then when you see that, then you see how many of them are not experts, because they lack the basic ability of common sense. You cannot even be smart without common sense. They put all of their belief into whatever CNN says and MSNBC. They don't even question it. Even their own eyes. You mean to tell me you didn't pay attention to the rallies that Joe Biden, and how he didn't have any people at his rallies, and then saw the big crowds? I mean, the videos were all over. But you keep yourself in your cocoon. You higher educated, keep yourself in this little box, never stepping outside of it, thinking that you're surrounding yourself with all this intelligence, and it's only made you stupid. Really, because you lack the basic common sense skills here. That nobody should, first of all, ever agree to a peaceful transfer of power if something was taken, no matter what it is, even if it's not election. If somebody stole something from you and you know they stole it, then you don't turn around and go along with the fraud. Maybe the higher educated would, and really they do, and that's the reason nobody trusts the institutions anymore. Yet this guy, Sam Harris, who's been put up as some expert, but there's many like him, lacks the ability of just basic intelligence. So, he goes on in this clip to talk about, how we need to get trust back in our institutions. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to happen, because there seems to be an ongoing problem with you experts that you do not have enough intelligence you don't have common sense. So, the best example to follow, and Sam Harris, of course, never would, because Sam Harris doesn't believe in God. He fights about the Bible and all that stuff, and that's fine. But I noticed that the people that have the best common sense skills are the people that believe in God. It's true. Because it's common sense to know there's a God. But what does Sam Harris and people like him need? We need evidence of it. Well, there is evidence. It's just not enough for you. You want Harvard to come out and give you some, report on it. No, it's one of those evidence where, you need to, look inside instead of constantly looking outside at everything. Yeah, it's having to know oneself, and, you're not going to have common sense when you don't believe in God. That's why I often call atheists, I kind of think they're stupid, because it's just an obvious thing. Even if you want to fight about which God it is, okay, but you can recognize there's a higher power of some kind. But when these experts, what they do is they believe CNN. I mean, anybody that has common sense knows, no, CNN has been caught, and MSNBC, all of these people, in so many lies. So then how long does Sam Harris want to keep lying to himself? Because he's not an expert of anything. And that's the reason people will not trust the institutions again. If the people that are going to be listed as experts do not have basic common sense. And we don't have any that have any common sense. We have a country full of people, of higher educated people, many that went along with globalism, yet the people with common sense would have never done that, because they would have had enough common sense to see that a mile away. But all those higher educated went along with it. It's like they were trained and educated to follow the leader of, those people have more education, so I'm not going to listen to anybody that has less education. They're just stupid. That's what you've been trained. That's what's been put in your mind, whether you realize it or not. And that's where you fail. Because if you look at Jesus's example, Jesus made the example very clear of who the experts were. I always say it. And who were the experts to Jesus? It was the poorly educated. It was the hard workers. It was the average people. Those were the people he saw as experts, and you can't get any higher expert than Jesus. I mean, that's, right, that's God right there. So Sam Harris really doesn't realize that it's him and all the other experts for why people do not believe the institutions anymore. None of you have common sense.